Coming to you live from George Finnie Stadium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. Welcome inside our live streaming coverage of Ohio Athletic Conference men's soccer. Tonight a big game. It's a rivalry contest between the Yellow Jackets and the Mount Union Purple Raiders. Tonight's game presented by Cleveland Clinic Sports Medicine, the official healthcare provider for BW Athletics. Alongside Dominic Cleary, I'm Brendan Gulick. Mount Union 4-2 on the season. They are a very good defensive team. They've only allowed 6 goals in 6 games, and only one of those 6 has come in the first 45 minutes. So they've essentially played level or out front in just about every game they've played here this season. On the other side, the Yellow Jackets at 2-3-2, so they've played one additional game, and unfortunately come into tonight's game off of a couple tough outings, back-to-back losses to John Carroll and most recently at Wilmington a couple of nights ago. Jackets are in their predominantly white uniforms, Mount Union in mostly black with some purple numbers and lettering, and we are underway on a cloudy but no longer raining evening. Not entirely sure if we've got rain scheduled here in the forecast the rest of the way. It's kind of hit or miss, but there is a chance that it could rain a bit again. We had a little late afternoon thunderstorm that leaked into just the very beginning of warm-ups, but has given way here just to cloudy skies now as play gets underway. Dom, how about your thoughts here on what you expect to see tonight?
Well, you would imagine that Baldwin Wallace, only 2 wins. Mount Union, they've been pretty good so far. Baldwin Wallace is trying to bounce back after a 4-0 defeat from Wilmington. Mount Union played them earlier in the year and beat them 2-1. So it's going to be interesting to see how Baldwin Wallace plays this. They're going to have a fight the whole game. It's interesting to see how they're going to play it, and I'm excited to join you for this one.
Well, that John Carroll game that was played here at home only ended up being a 1-0 final, but was, as play on was awarded, and then the referee blew the whistle after it became clear Mount Union wouldn't have a free run any longer. That 1-0 game against John Carroll, at times, I think BW's defense deserved credit. But John Carroll was pretty decidedly the better team that night and, frankly, could have probably scored 5 or 6 goals. So, all in all, a good showing. But, certainly a disappointing loss. And then, look, you go down to Wilmington, and a more frustrating defeat there as Matt Weaver pulls this one down. So, Yellow Jackets are hoping that they can get a sour taste out of their mouth because those 2 losses came after back-to-back Yellow Jacket wins that showed that maybe the tide was turning here a bit as the season progressed. Let's give you the starting lineups. We mentioned Matt Weaver, sophomore goalkeeper for the Jackets, figures to have a busy night. Trevor Ham is a central figure in the back line, a junior from Strongsville and one of the team's center backs. Expect him to play a big role. Brandon Garibaldi, Attila Nagy Jr. will be in the midfield. Nagy comes onto the ball here and looking for a little help. This is Zach Hoover, who's the other center back for the Yellow Jackets. Plays it wide left to the left back, C.J. Kessler. Bryce Posner, a senior midfielder. Dylan Keeling will play in the midfield here at the outset. And Julian Kieres, along with Nick Surowitz and Ryan Stransky, all figure into the attack. Yellow Jackets head coach is Reed Ayers in his 19th year. All-time winningest coach in BW men's soccer history. Nick Talja and Vince Milner are his assistants. On the other side for Mount Union, led by first-year head coach David Krems, 2010 grad over at Hiram. Purple Raiders have Mikey Contreras in goal, a junior goalkeeper from Fremont Ross High School. That's up in the Toledo area, if I'm not mistaken. And Contreras on the season, again, 6 goals allowed in 6 games total. As Trevor Ham lines up for the free kick. Launches it down a long way with that right foot, and a whistle with a foul on the Jackets. Defenders for Mount Union include sophomore Josh Palmer, senior Austin Overy, freshman Jacob Koman, Tyler Jasinski, and Nick Fuchs. Tucker Ramirez will play in the midfield. Christian Egan, a junior midfielder, along with Carter Hancock, who's a freshman out of Amherst Steel. Jamin McCourt, Colton Priester, both on the attack. Rylan Wickel will play in the midfield. That's a starting lineup for the Purple Raiders. Mount Union so far so good, dominating possession here. They've certainly had more threatening chances. And this will be Coleman, the freshman from Youngstown Ursuline. No whistle there for a handball. The Yellow Jackets might have gotten away with one. And instead they'll throw it in. The drizzle picking back up once more. Thankfully, the temperature cooling off a little bit. It was a gorgeous afternoon, but as the sun's gone down, it's now a very comfortable 63 degrees. Mount Union playing with good organization here early. Maybe the Yellow Jackets getting a chance as Surowitz fed it up toward Kessler, but overshot him.
He put a little too much mustard on that. Try to put a nice ball that would lead him to the corner. Just a little too much on it. Has to lay off on that a little bit, and Baldwin Wallace gets a good chance.
Leading scorers on the season for Mount Union. A handful of guys have scored once, but Rylan Wickley, 4 goals so far through his first 6 games. Have to keep your eye out on Rylan. Where's number 8 for Mount Union? Looking to surge his way into the middle of the box there. He's got the green captain's armband on. It might be an easy way for you to spot him here with our wide-angle camera. That ball accidentally hit the referee. Good play ahead. Jackets hoping for a little backside pressure. This one not cleared away. Not much wind to speak of, maybe just a couple miles an hour. So it shouldn't really affect the game too much. Good play there by Priester. Jasinski, the right back, throws it forward. Posner couldn't win it. Surowitz cracks it ahead into the corner. Kieres not going to get there.
I think Surowitz thought that he was more further ahead, that he was expecting that pass to be there. As you could tell with some hand gestures, that he was a little confused that no one was there.
A free kick coming for BW here in the midfield. Top 6 teams in the OAC standings will make the conference tournament, with the top 2 teams receiving byes into the OAC semifinals. Right now, Marietta and Mount Union are both in position to have a home game in the quarterfinal round. Mount Union 4th in the league. Oh my goodness gracious. How did that happen? The Yellow Jackets score on a complete mistake. BW gets awfully lucky as Contreras comes out and misplays it.
Well, you could say you don't see that too often.
It was almost like Contreras went out with fists closed to try and punch it away rather than catching it on the fly. I mean, he had almost a completely unabated chance to go right to the ball. Again, that's just the second first-half goal Mount Union has allowed all year. In fact, they've only, on average, allowed 3 shots per team in the first half of their 6 games. So their defense has truly been suffocating early on. But a huge mental error by the Purple Raiders, and the Yellow Jackets take the lead early. Purple Raider throw. The Yellow Jacket bench was justifiably fired up when that one went in the back of the net. But it certainly left a few head scratchers over on the Mount Union sideline. Contreras a little bit more thorough with that one. This is something of a home game for Ryan Wickel. He's from Olmsted Falls, which is just up the street. Played for the Bulldogs in high school. Center back and captain Austin Overy plays it wide left. Trevor Ham. Yellow Jackets operating in space nicely, but a turnover there. That's an unusual mistake by Kessler, and now he's got to try and recover. Had to work hard for it. Mount Union wins a corner.
Kessler overplayed that a little bit, but that's great recovery. That's an all hustle on that play to make sure it didn't get out of hand.
Corner kick for Mount Union, number 13, Christian Egan.
So Egan will take the corner. Egan drives in a low ball that scoots all the way through, almost untouched. Jackets knock away a centering pass.
You know, one can say that Baldwin Wallace has had a lot of practice defending corner kicks this year. That's the 59th corner kick that they've given up, and they've only had 29 so far this season against their opponents.
I thought that one may have crossed the end line, and finally the flag goes up to signal that Carter Hancock over the touchline. 11th minute, it's 1-0 Baldwin Wallace. Yellow Jacket goal officially credited to Nick Surowitz on a free kick played from midfield that, without a replay, I can't tell you for sure if someone touched it. But they must have felt Surowitz got something on it. Either way, it was a ball that Mikey Contreras definitely wishes he had back. Came out and kind of whiffed on it. Speaking of corner kicks, how about one for the Yellow Jackets?
Corner kick for Baldwin Wallace, number 28, Nick Surowitz.
Reed Ayers standing away from the team on the far sideline, watching his group line up. That was flung toward Hoover. And stays with the Jackets. Sloppy play. Jackets trying to recover. This is McCourt laying back to the right. Passes behind Priester. That stayed in play. And Hoover clears it out.
Tonight's men's soccer results and all other Yellow Jacket athletic results can be accessed through the BW.
Baldwin Wallace has played some stout defense so far. They haven't given much of an inch here for Mount Union, and they've been pretty relentless on the offensive end.
Nice ball played ahead, and that's well controlled by Quieres. But the defense all over him. Tucker Ramirez just wouldn't let him get away. That's a good battle over there. Actually, beg your pardon, it's Jacob Coleman, the left back, who was marking him. I know they gave up an early goal, but it really wasn't truly the back line's fault. I think the four defenders for Mount Union have done a nice job here early on.
Being webcast on the BW Athletic website at bwyellowjackets.com. You can view all BW home games on the website.
We are entering the 14th minute. Baldwin Wallace out front of Mount Union. Purple Raiders with losses to Otterbein and Marietta, but they have beaten Wilmington, Muskingum, Capital, and Heidelberg. They had their game on March 18th against John Carroll canceled, presumably because one of the two programs was dealing with pandemic-related issues. It's been really the only reason we've seen any games canceled this year. Nagy right-footed it into the middle, but nobody was really there to help him out.
And despite the 1-0 lead by Baldwin Wallace, they've spent a good portion so far at their end. If they want to win this game, they can't just trust that they'll continue getting lucky. They have to spend more time on the end of Mount Union.
Jackets and Purple Raiders played a thriller last year in very late October 2019. BW with a 2-1 overtime win here on their home field. Attila Nagy Jr. had a second consecutive overtime game winner. Nagy on the ball here. Good play. Keeling right foots it into the middle. Posner trying to come onto it. The referee says play on. Yeah, that win in 2019 was BW's first against Mount Union since 2016. This is a series that the Purple Raiders all time have had a pretty good handle on. Mount Union enters tonight's game 22-11-3 all time against BW. Here's a great chance from the top of the box, and it just missed the top right corner. Oh, that had gold written all over it for Carter Hancock, but he fires wide right.
That was a great move to try to get in the middle. He was almost square with the net after that nice move he had, but just barely missed the corner.
We'll give you some updates from around the conference along the way tonight, but Heidelberg and John Carroll play. Otterbein and Ohio Northern. Wilmington is at Capital. Marietta hosting Muskingum. OAC tournament coming up starting next week. The Yellow Jackets need results. Right now they are in the 7th spot. On the outside looking in, they've got 8 points. Draws really won't do it for them. Most likely, Ohio Northern and Otterbein both with 10 points, the Jackets with 8. And between tonight and Saturday, there are not many chances left. A chance for Nagy. He redirects it just wide right. Boy, the Jackets had a great chance to take a 2-0 lead. It was knocked out off a Raider, and so a corner kick coming.
You mentioned the draws. One thing that really hurt them was their second game of the season against ONU. They had the lead with about 10 minutes left in the game, and ONU was able to tie it and ended up in a draw.
Into the middle of the box. Good play defensively there by Jasinski, and Mount Union rids of danger.
No, but like I was saying, it's tough when you have those games where, as the time dwindles down, we have it. Ends up in the draw, the game extends longer, and you're just not able to get that win, to get above that, and to have that 1, which now is a 2, on that draw. It's tough, knowing that they could have won that game. They wish they could have that back, but they can't think about it now as they fight for a playoff spot to get in that OAC tournament.
Meanwhile, Saturday's game will not be an easy one. Marietta's program has gotten significantly better the last couple of years. Pioneers are having a good season. They are playing a bad Muskingum team tonight and have a really good chance to push their record to 6-2 before Saturday's regular season finale. So the Jackets know they've got 2 tough customers in front of them. Trevor Ham trying to play defense. Wickel had the better of him there. Instead, a step to his left. Hancock knocked off the ball. Great defense. And a yellow card given to the Jackets for a delay of game. Zach Hoover, after the ball was already out of bounds, kicked it away. Clock is at 26:13 and counting, although I thought the referee signaled to stop the clock. Well, at the moment, the clock finally does stop, 26:06. We'll see if they make an adjustment on the time. So it's Hoover that's given the caution here in the 19th. No adjustments. Oh, yes, there is an adjustment to the clock. I beg your pardon. They put 30 seconds back on it. What a play by Weaver. It slipped away from him. That ball crossed the back line, did it not? Oh, Mount Union not happy, and justifiably so. They should have had a corner kick there. The Yellow Jackets got very lucky. Nifty little shot from Ryan Wickel. And unfortunately, didn't go in. Matt Weaver fumbled it toward his right. That ball apparently did not cross the line in the eyes of the referee. So the Jackets, at least the way I saw it, without the benefit of a replay, I think BW got away with one there. We'll see if they can make something of it. Ramirez looking forward to his left. Wickel challenged it out of bounds. Mount Union has been a bit more powerful on the offensive end. The Jackets have had a couple of chances, but they've played most of these first 20 minutes down on this end of the field as Palmer plays to an open spot.
You know, that being said, credit this Baldwin Wallace defense. I mean, they've been solid so far in this game.
They've certainly held up well enough. Kessler. Back to Weaver.
The volleyball team 11-5 overall and 11-5 in the OAC returns to play on Friday, April 9th when the team hosts Marietta College for an OAC double.
Neither team has turned to one of their reserves quite yet, but there is some stirring on both sidelines. Hoover launches it down the park. And a Jacket throw. Out of bounds kicked ball had wandered its way back into play, so they blew it dead for a moment. And now Garibati. Live streaming coverage tonight presented by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company, and by the Oswald Company. They'll handle all of your insurance and risk management needs. We're in the 22nd minute. If you've just tuned in alongside Dominic Clary, I'm Brendan Gulick. Baldwin Wallace looking for 2 straight wins over Mount Union after having not had the chance to play any conference games last year because of the pandemic. The Jackets last beat Mount Union in the fall of 2019. And they play from out front in a somewhat surprising fashion after a gifted goal by the Purple Raiders in the 8th minute. But the Jackets will certainly take it, especially considering sometimes this year goals have been hard to come by, including tonight's goal. BW has scored 7 times in now their 8th game of the season. Nagy. Heavy touch from Surowitz. High lofted ball ahead toward Priester. Well, it's a pretty good effort from Egan. Like the creativity there. Not a ton of shots either way. 2 for BW, 3 for Mount Union through the first half of this first half. We are 5 seconds away from being exactly at the midway point.
Both defenses have been pretty solid so far. And really battling it out in midfield at a lot of points in this game, but it seems like Mount Union's winning the tug-of-war battle, spending a lot of time at Baldwin Wallace's end.
Mount Union did not have a chance, I mentioned earlier, to play John Carroll in their second game of the year after the Jackets commit a foul there. Sloppy play from Surowitz, but good sportsmanship. So Mount Union didn't have a chance to measure themselves against the only team right now in the conference that is undefeated. But there is a chance that those two might meet in the OAC tournament. John Carroll has given up a whopping 1 goal this season. That was a nice turning ball played in. Another chance maybe for Wickel. With good touch on it, Weaver. With Palmer breathing down his neck, Weaver never touched it, but it did go off of Nagy, and it's a corner kick. Fans are not happy, but I think it was probably the right call.
I'm with you on that one.
Jamin McCourt
Corner kick, Mount Union,
gives
number
2 thumbs
13,
up to his
Christian
far
Egan.
sideline saying, hey, I don't need a sub. I know I went down, but I'm okay. Christian Egan with the right foot. Hangs it up in the sky, too deep. Kessler watches it roll toward that far sideline. Both teams prepare to bring on reserves. More pressure from the Raiders. Priester laid it off. Left-footed shot way too tall. Not a bad idea, but execution there from Ramirez. Not really the way he had drawn it up. It's Gavin Velasquez who's come on now for Mount Union. Yellow Jackets bring Garibaldi and Nagy off the field. Michael Tusick, the freshman from Strongsville, checks in on the attack.
In for Baldwin Wallace, number 26, Michael Tusick, and number 29, Alex
It looks
Kleck.
like Alex Kleck, the sophomore, also from Olmsted Falls. Former high school teammate of Rylan Wickel. "26th minute, 1-0 Baldwin Wallace on an 8th minute goal.
Good defensive effort. The effort for Baldwin Wallace has been outstanding as well. I mentioned it a few times with the hustle that they've displayed on defense. Mount Union 1 step ahead on them. It seems like they're just catching up with ease, not giving up on any play. A true show of heart by Baldwin Wallace. But Mount Union as well has been playing hard. It's no slight on them. They haven't given an inch on defense other than the 1 point they gave. They've been really strong. That back line has been solid for them so far.
That was intended to be more of a pass than a shot, but came heavy off Stransky's right foot. And a goal kick.
Ball seemed to sail a little bit right off his foot. A little bit too much emphasis on that ball.
These two universities were supposed to play football on this field tomorrow night, but that game was unfortunately canceled because of COVID-19. The Yellow Jacket football season has now had a couple of games canceled. They only had 5 total on the schedule. We'll find out if they're able to play next week. But it's been a frustrating year. Mount Union also has had a pretty odd spring football season.
The football team today was notified that they'll start practicing Saturday for Baldwin Wallace. So hopefully for the football team, that's a sign that they'll be playing after having two games canceled in a row, and they had a bye week, 3 weeks of no play. Hopefully for them, they can play the the East versus West game, and they'll find out tomorrow who they'll play.
Ooh, I don't think that felt very good. Velasquez, they're telling him to hang tight and bringing an athletic trainer on. I think Velasquez took that one off the side of his face. He's trying to tough it out, but we will step aside briefly while he's attended to out on the field. There's 17 minutes and 42 seconds left in the first half. Baldwin Wallace with a 1-0 lead over Mount Union. Back in just a moment here.
Now in for Mount Union, number 21, Nick DeMonte.
Well, the good news is there that Kevin Velasquez walked off the field under his own power. Glad to see that he is at least somewhat got his wits about him and didn't need help coming off the field. Hope he's okay. I'm sure he will be evaluated because it appeared to be a head injury, so they'll make awfully sure he's okay before he could potentially come back into the game. And at the same token, his replacement is a former Brunswick Blue Devil, Nick DeMonte, a junior in the midfield. He'll come on and play out on the right wing. There's a great ball played in, just a step too far out in front of the Yellow Jacket attack. Mike Tusick sprinting forward, but not before Contreras could get out to it. We're approaching the final quarter hour of this first half as that knuckled punt goes all the way up the left side. Well, for a moment there, it looked like a good build-up. Instead now, DeMonte with room to operate. Feeds it to Wickel. Egan. Yellow Jackets trying to get measured now. Jasinski pressed forward. And a turnover. Kleck plays it back centrally. Jackets try to get reorganized. Header goes to the middle from Surowitz. Given back to Mount Union. Wickel rolls it ahead. Priester on the move up the left side. Shots deflected. It was perfectly played right to the streaking DeMonte with Weaver coming down as well. And somehow Matt Weaver kept it out of the net. That looked like a sure Purple Raider goal.
You know, he's going to be beating himself up about that after this one. He had a perfect opportunity. It was just him, the ball in the net, and just couldn't get there, just couldn't strike the ball.
An electric save by Matt Weaver. Another Mount Union corner kick. Weaver watches it headed clear, but the danger not yet removed. Flipping back, Egan on the near side. Egan tried to stay with it, but he committed the foul. You could tell he disagreed with the call, but ran back down the field and avoided any confrontation there with the referee. Wickel looking for help wide. Nifty move played back in centrally. Wickel will get his head on it. Matt Weaver was right there waiting calmly and patiently. If Wickel could have directed that one way or the other, he might have scored. It turned out to be a fairly routine save for Matt Weaver.
Weaver's had a good game so far, but that ball was right in his mitts, and like you said, a fairly easy save for him. Almost routine, some would say.
Well, Egan wanted to go right back to DeMonte, but he had slipped and fallen. The Jackets have just a quick second to catch their breath.
They haven't had a solid offensive possession in a while.
Overall and 5-0 in the OAC is back in action on Saturday, April 10th, as they host Muskegon University for an OAC game and Senior Day game at 1 o'clock.
Hoover gets to it. Jacket throw incoming. They had an opening for a moment, but it closed quickly. Instead, now back ahead to their leader, Wickel, trying to keep his feet. Hoover running hip for hip with him, and finally gets some help from C.J. Kessler, who's flipped over to the right side of the defensive back line once Kleck came on. And now a goal kick.
Despite the yellow card that he's gotten so far, Zach Hoover has been really solid for Baldwin Wallace. He's been hip to hip with every defender that he's coming, or attacker that he's been encounter with. He's been solid and definitely irreplaceable for Baldwin Wallace so far.
Former St. Edward Eagle Brett Kaiser on defensively for Mount Union here. Jackets trying to take advantage of the open net, but Stransky did not hit it well. Approaching 12 minutes left in the first half. And for the time being, Yellow Jackets still trying to figure out offensively how to get any kind of rhythm going. They lead 1-0, but they've taken just 2 shots, and the goal came on a clear mistake by Contreras on a free kick from midfield that floated into the middle of the box. Contreras came out, put his hands up, and he just missed it. And BW had an open net, tapped it in. Meanwhile, we've got another sub for Mount Union. Looks like they brought in Xavier Penaya, young man from Anthony Wayne High. Ryland Black, they just said came on as well, although I did not see him check in. But I know Penaya's on the field. I can see him.
Free kick for Baldwin Wallace, number 9, Zach Hoover.
I'll let you know if I find Ryland Black. Meanwhile, Hoover just a step or two shy of midfield. High lofted ball. Keeling. Yeah. Okay.
Baldwin seems to not have put a decent attack together since there was a play after their first goal that was very good and well put together where they had a good opportunity. But after that, they haven't had a lot of chances. They seem to not have been able to build off that and been on their heels for a majority of this game. Now, Baldwin Wallace has the lead, but it doesn't seem like they have the momentum.
And Weaver alertly kicks it out of play there. Entering the 36th minute with Mount Union in a familiar spot, deep in the offensive end. The Yellow Jacket defense has done its job, forcing a 4th Mount Union corner This one from the far side, though. Kaiser will go over to take it.
Corner kick for Mount Union by number 16, Brett Kaiser.
On the way in. And Palmer can't catch up to it. Palmer. Mount Union quickly back into the offensive end from Overy. A neat idea there. DeMonte showing good speed, but the pass missed him. Couple more changes.
Number 12, Matt Begin.
Matt Began comes in, as does Ryan Sarkisian.
Ended for Mount Union, number 14, Ryan Sarkisian.
A chance now for the Raiders. Weaver came out. Second opportunity, no. Posner got a bit lucky. Another really good build-up there for Mount Union that came up empty-handed.
As you said, Matt Began checked in the game. He's only appeared in 3 games thus far. Young man from Massachusetts. Traveled a good ways to come here to Baldwin Wallace.
Posner played it back. Capital leads Wilmington 1-0. They have just 2.5 minutes left in the first half of their contest. Capital Crusaders have another really good team this year, but they haven't quite had the results they're looking for ever since Chewy Gordon and company graduated. Things have been a little bit more challenging for Cap. Mount Union with a free kick. This is another good spot.
Baldwin Wallace trying to hang on with only 7 minutes left.
Free kick for Mount Union, number 8, Rylan Weichel.
It'll either come from Weichel or from Ramirez. And it looks like Weichel will take it. This is a direct free kick. Weichel could bury it. And I think he tried to take that chance and sent it too high. As soon as he hit it, he whipped his head away in disgust, frustrated with himself for misstriking it. Ohio Northern out front of Otterbein late in the first half. Polar Bears with a 2-0 lead tonight. Well, the Jackets just can't get it out of the defensive end here. Marietta and Muskingum tied at 1. Their game started at 6:30, so they are already into the beginning of the second half down in southern Ohio. Try to get you an update from John Carroll in Heidelberg as quickly as we can. Long run ahead. Good work there from Tusick. Can't turn the corner, though. Good
Fantastic effort by both sides there. I mean, that sequence was fantastic to watch. Just the effort by both players.
April 10th, when the team travels to New Concord for an OAC game against Muskingum University at 1 o'clock.
Raiders win the ball in the midfield and play it too far wide right. That ball kind of deadened. I think it hit somebody in the torso and fell straight down. Another ball played toward DeMonte. The Yellow Jacket defense holding. BW still with a 1-0 lead, but they have been on the defensive far more often than not.
You know, it really hasn't been Mount Union missing a lot of shots. It's more been Baldwin Wallace holding stout, bend but don't break, in clearing the ball to midfield, but they're just not able to get anything going through their attackers and their midfielders once they do get that clear.
Kaiser played into the middle. Hoover got to it first. Quick touch, left-footed strike into the middle. Palmer can't get there as Keeling clears. Still another chance. Kaiser back in, some contact in the 18. And the referee will rule a foul on Mount Union. Meantime, John Carroll and Heidelberg are scoreless in the final minute of the first half. And that game over in University Heights. Heidelberg winless on the season. John Carroll undefeated. Remember, the Blue Streaks through 6 games have only surrendered 1 goal. Heidelberg's had a hard time scoring at all. They've scored 2 goals in 7 contests. So perhaps Heidelberg's putting together a decent effort if they're still level in the final minute of the half over in University Heights. Nifty move over there. Another good chance. Weaver, Johnny on the spot. Diving out with DeMonte crashing down. Can't play a much better ball on the way into the middle, though, than what Xavier Panaya just did there. Foul on Mount Union.
These past 5 minutes have been very long for Baldwin Wallace. I'm spending a lot of that in their own box. Fighting to retain that lead. They need more offensive opportunities, and they're just not getting them so far.
Same thing coming here. Ham all the way to the goal. Oh, it might have gone in the top corner. Really well played by Contreras there. That ball would have definitely been goal high had Contreras not gotten a hand on it. A beauty from Trevor Ham. Keeling plays in the corner. Nudged back forward, and an easy ball for Contreras that time. Goodness. If Ham would have scored from midfield, it would have been the goal of the year in the conference.
Could have been on SportsCenter in the morning. Who knows?
Perfect through ball. That Ham measured nicely. Trevor's having a good game so far. Mount Union with under 2 minutes left in the half. Another corner kick.
Baldwin Wallace, number 8, Owen Feely.
Him and Hoover have been the leaders on that defensive line. Not giving an inch, hip to hip on every play.
Good news, Velasquez is back in the game after leaving earlier with taking that ball to the head. Now this is a throw-in, not a corner, but it's a de facto corner, and Weaver jumps up and grabs the header. Good try there from Panaya. And so as we approach the 45th minute, BW still holding on to a 1-0 lead.
1 minute remaining in the first half.
Long ball played ahead to Tusick. Corner kick.
Baldwin Wallace has been playing very direct today. Striking that ball right up the middle, trying to get it to their attackers.
Baldwin Wallace, number 11, Dylan Keeling.
Keeling down in the corner. 32 seconds and counting. And the clock stops here, or it's supposed to. Now it does. 26.7. One of the Purple Raiders went down, grabbing at his right foot. That's Jacob Coleman, and the referee is signaling that they need to bring on a substitute.
Did you see what happened?
You know, I didn't. He could have rolled his ankle. He could have accidentally gotten stepped on. I'm not entirely sure. Coleman clearly a little shaken up. I think he wanted to tough it out for the final possession or play here of this half.
Number 25, Trey Kaminsky.
But instead, Trey Kaminsky, former Hudson Explorer, on to try and help shore up the defense here. Here we go. Keeling, high, long corner, and the flag goes up. That actually crossed the end line in the air. And that will effectively end the first half. Contreras with 10 seconds,
10,
blasts it
9,
down the field.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So Nick Surowitz with a goal in the 8th minute off a mistake by Contreras on a lengthy ball played in on a free kick from literally just in front of midfield. It's the only goal that's gone in so far either way. Mount Union has certainly held a better time of possession, but the Yellow Jacket defense has withstood that pressure so far. And Baldwin Wallace takes the lead into the break. All right, we'll step aside here briefly. We got about a 15-minute intermission. And when we come back, we'll bring you live streaming coverage of the second half. It's the Jackets 1, the Purple Raiders nothing. You're watching live streaming coverage of Ohio Athletic Conference men's soccer on BWYellowJackets.com.
At Cleveland Clinic Sports Health, we understand athletes. Whether you've been injured or want to improve your performance, we have a team of experts for your needs. Call 877-440-TEAM or visit sports-health.org to learn more. Cleveland Clinic Sports Health, proud medical provider for Baldwin Wallace University student athletes. Baldwin Wallace would like to congratulate Junior All-Ohio Athletic Conference right-handed softball pitcher Nikki Camerati of Brunswick on being named the OAC Softball Pitcher of the Week for the second time in the last 3 weeks and the sixth time in her career. Congratulations, Nikki. Baldwin Wallace would also like to congratulate senior All-Ohio Athletic Conference and academic All-OAC distance runner Alyssa Lochner of Howard, Pennsylvania, on being named the OAC Women's Track Athlete of the Week for the first time in her career. Congratulations, Alyssa.
Live streaming coverage of tonight's Yellow Jackets soccer game presented by Medical Mutual of Ohio, the official healthcare provider for Baldwin Wallace University. 1-0, the Yellow Jackets have the lead as we kick off the second half. Mount Union is in their purple and black uniforms. Jackets are in white here at home. BW first half goal came from Nick Surowitz on a free kick from near midfield on a ball that was unfortunately just flat out misplayed by Mikey Contreras. And the Yellow Jackets have not been able to add to that lead, although they have certainly held off a number of Mount Union attacks. In the remaining 45 minutes, the Jackets think they could maybe add one here. By the way, the rain is resumed after we had a dry first half. It rained for about an hour before the game started and then stopped for the first half, but now it's a pretty steady light drizzle. It was a red idea. Palmer cracks it up the field. Play on. And a throw-in.
There's been a difference so far in this game. When you talk about substitutions, Mount Union has sent in a lot of subs. A lot of the reserves have touched the field tonight. Only 3 for Baldwin Wallace. Let's see how that plays out in the second half. If Baldwin Wallace continues that starter-heavy lineup, or if they do some changes as we get into the back end of this game.
Nagy, Kiris. Needed a little help. Trying to play with Surowitz. C.J. Kessler. Nice move, but then too heavy a touch. Long ball hit down the field.
Good idea, but ball sailed a little bit left. Maybe the wind took it off his foot. Maybe he just misplaced it a tad, but the ball sails right out of bounds.
Jackets trying to play up the far side. Thought they had another chance. Never materialized. Still maybe. Kires. Posner. Low skipper. Not a bad idea on the wet turf. Somewhere along the way. That just might work out. But a good play by Contreras as the intensity of the rain picks up.
You know, he had the right idea there. He put that in the low bottom left corner. And that ball takes a little bit of a hop. Who knows what happens there? You know, the luck has been in Baldwin Wallace's favor so far. So not a bad shot taken there by Baldwin Wallace.
Ben Risco has scored for John Carroll to give them a 1-0 lead over Heidelberg. Ohio Northern leads Otterbein 2-0. Ohio Northern goals from Jeffrey Firestone and Levi King tonight. Capital with a 1-0 edge over Wilmington. Jack Francisco scored in the 21st minute for the Crusaders. And Marietta's lead over Muskingum is now 2-1. Audino Giovanni just scored the go-ahead goal for the Pioneers, who at one point were trailing 1-0. Evan Taylor also scoring for Marietta tonight. As your look around the conference, we'll keep you updated on those other games. 1-0 here in this one. This is the penultimate game of the truncated regular season. No non-conference games, just one game against everybody in the league, and then a conference tournament. Weaver's clearance attempt didn't go well. Mount Union trying to make something of it, and Hoover wouldn't give in. Perhaps still a chance from Tucker Ramirez. Couldn't pull it from a long range. Hoover plays it wide. Play on, the referee says. Weaver with a diving opportunity. Kept that one inside his possession. It's exactly the kind of play that could bite you if you're not paying attention. You got to make sure you really squeeze that with the rain coming down here.
You know, Weaver's been very aggressive when Mount Union's tried to cross the ball. He's came out a little bit and done his best to protect the goal. He's not playing it once that letting Mount Union make a play on that cross. He's being aggressive, catching that ball, bringing it in, not letting him get an opportunity. Well done.
The freshman Kieres plays back across to Hoover. Hoover stopped and turned it over. Hancock. Good ball up ahead. Well, Union won the foot race there. McCourt went down right around the touchline, and now they'll stop the clock with 39 minutes. It looks like McCourt might require some attention. Well, they had stopped the clock for a moment, then ran it back up.
10-2 in the OAC is back in action on Saturday.
It's just been a little all over the place.
John Carroll University for an OAC doubleheader.
They'll get it figured out.
Starting at 1 o'clock.
Meanwhile, looks like McCourt is okay. But I think he's got to come off the field. So McCourt will check in at the next dead ball. And now the clock is running. I think the referee is over in front of the official scorer's table over there with the intention of correcting the clock. Clock's at 38:24. It just ticked off another. It's running again. I don't know. They'll get it figured out eventually. The head referee is chuckling at the moment. I'm sure someone's in the process of radioing up to the official scoreboard operator. All right, 38 minutes, 59 seconds is where they put it. And now we resume. Another good play by Hoover.
He's been tough this game.
Palmer ran that one down with Surowitz pressing in, but no real chance for the Jackets to do anything with that. Our coverage tonight presented by Buffalo Wild Wings in Medina, Strongsville, and Warrensville Heights. Buffalo Wild Wings is the ultimate place to get together with your friends to eat wings and watch sports. Also by Barron's Bus Company, the official charter bus company for Yellow Jacket Athletics. We've got a free kick for Mount Union here. And this is definitely from a good angle and a good area. It came quickly. Matt Weaver was hardly paying attention. And on the quick restart, the Purple Raiders almost took advantage.
You know, if we're comparing halves so far, still very, very early in this half. A lot could happen. But Baldwin Wallace seems to be a lot more aggressive so far. They've been really bringing it on the end of Mount Union, and they've put some chances forward. You know, look to see, how Baldwin Wallace does, staying aggressive.
Good run by the Raiders. Right into the middle. Spins back where it came from. A second chance on a high ball played into the middle. Mount Union just couldn't quite square it up. Geez, you can sense the frustration there from McCourt, who felt like he should have been able to crack one toward the net, and it just went spinning awkwardly off his foot. Rain steadying a bit now as Priester surged through the middle. Rolled one at Weaver. Baldwin Wallace trying to snap a two-game losing streak, having dropped games consecutively to John Carroll and Wilmington. Mount Union at 4-2 on the year. A win for them would probably solidify a top 4 seed for them and a home game in the OAC tournament coming up next week. Still some shaking around could happen this weekend, but there's a good chance that a win for Mount Union tonight could put them in a good spot.
And only with this game and Marietta next week for Baldwin Wallace,
Corner kick for
both
Mount
these
Union, number
games
13, Christian
are
Egan.
must wins. As right now they're on the outside looking in, trying to sneak in a playoff spot.
Egan on the corner kick. Palmer heads it straight down, then Weaver goes up and grabs it with authority. Of course, Mount Union and Ohio Northern are playing on Sunday, and that game has major playoff implications as well. Let's say Ohio Northern wins tonight and Mount Union loses today. Then the Polar Bears would leapfrog the Purple Raiders by 1 point in the standings, 13-12, going into that final matchup of the regular season. But if Mount Union wins today and gets to 15 points, they could afford to draw Ohio Northern and still clinch a home game. So still some shaking around to do. Meanwhile, Marietta at 15 points entering the day, and they have a lead. Got a foul there, I thought, on BW. Goes all the way down to the end line, and a corner kick awarded. McCourt trying to win an Oscar. Maximum points available for BW the rest of the way would get them to 14, which means they cannot finish higher than 4th place in the conference. Egan from the corner. It's on the back post, out of play, and a goal kick.
The softball team, 11-7 overall and 9-7 in the OAC, is back in action on Saturday, April 10th, when the team travels to University Heights for an OAC doubleheader.
Got a Yellow Jacket sub coming on.
Starting at 1 o'clock.
And that substitute is Michael Tusick. He's on for Keeling.
Number 26, Michael Tusick.
I really like Tusick. I think he's going to be a good player for the Jackets. The combination of him and Surowitz up front, I think, could be exciting next fall. Tusick just a freshman, Surowitz in his junior season. And, of course, you've got the freshman Kieres, who's been involved as well. And Attila Nagy, who will be back next year. BW dealing with life after Danny Ruppel. Okay. Hard to replace someone who is that prolific offensively.
You know, one thing that could play in the favor of Baldwin Wallace for these next few years is the extra year of eligibility. Who knows? Some of these juniors, don't decide to graduate in 2022 and decide to come back another year. It could be a very, very big year, 2022 fall, if a good amount of these juniors stay. The freshmen continue to stay and build. You could see a lot of great chemistry build up here at Baldwin Wallace, depending on what these juniors decide to do.
That's a great point. I'm sure that will all be addressed with the coaching staffs and the teams at the appropriate time. Haven't seen too much from Weichel here in the second half as Weaver picks it up. Ryland just hasn't been able to get involved the way he was early. Meanwhile, Wilmington with a goal in the 56th minute, tied up Capital at 1 apiece. Marietta still leads Muskingum 2-1 there in the 78th minute. Ohio Northern has a 2-0 lead over Otterbein there in the 59th minute. And John Carroll still ahead of Heidelberg 1-0, 61st minute in University Heights.
In for Mount Union, number 19, Adam Passano.
Passano on for McCourt here. He immediately finds himself right in the thick of things. Passano with the ball on his feet with a crafty little pass into the middle, up into the air, and it becomes an easy play for Weaver. Had that ball hit off of Weichel's head a little more squarely, he might have been able to direct it toward the net. Palmer. Kessler and Kieres here. Thinking they can swing it across. Nagy. Surowitz. Tusick. Into the middle of the box. Nagy is there and he scores! Oh, it's an absolute beauty! Attila Nagy Jr. on a perfect pass. And the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets take a 2-0 lead over Mount Union.
I mean, what a sequence of team soccer by Baldwin Wallace. Slowly work their way up. A lot different than what they were doing in the first half. Very direct in the first half, but here, a few passes, work your way back a little bit. Make that extra pass. See if there's an open lane. They found one. They found Nagy in the middle. He made a fantastic move and put that in the opposite bottom corner. That's just beautiful soccer.
Baldwin Wallace is giving Mount Union all it can handle tonight And the Yellow Jackets, with still a lot of game left, were almost exactly 1 hour in. The Yellow Jackets have a 2-0 lead. Attila Nagy Jr. with a huge BW goal. That's his first here in 2021.
You know, right before that that goal from Nagy Jr., I was just about to say I'd like how him and the rest of that midfield and the attackers were battling in the midfield. You know, in the first half, that was missing a lot, and you know now that translated to a well-earned goal instead of a goal with a little bit of a lucky bounce. I mean, that was beautiful soccer by Baldwin Wallace, and just a complete flip here of halves for Baldwin Wallace as they continue to extend their lead over Mount Union.
Purple Raiders, you can feel the urgency increase here a bit. Again, there's still just under 30 minutes to play. There's a great shot, and Weaver snares it out of the air. Colton Priester put a vapor trail behind it, but couldn't get past Weaver. The excitement level notching up a bit here. That's a BW throw.
You know, credit to Weaver. He's been fantastic today. You can't take that away from him. But Mount Union, I mean, they've smoked some shots at the net, but they haven't really been placed well. A lot of these shots have been right to Weaver's mitts. If you put some of these balls in the corners, you know, even off in the middle a little bit, left middle, right middle, some of these shots could have went in, but they're hitting the ball right to Weaver, right in the middle. You have to imagine if they put that ball anywhere else, we could have a different ball game here.
Sweet footwork. And now life for the Raiders. Another one ripped across. Weaver wasn't pressured too tough. And he handled the juggle. Priester had undercut it. That ball wasn't hit with a lot of emphasis, and now a turnover. A chance for Passano, and he rips one off a ham. Rain still falling here at home. Quieres plays a long one ahead. Tusick.
Good effort.
That should be Mount Union ball, and it is. Mount Union with 2 subs coming on. They're bringing in Xavier Panaya and Brett Kaiser.
Mount Union number 9, Xavier Panaya.
Mount Union taking off Colton Priester
Also in for Mount Union number 10,
and Tucker
Jerome
Ramirez.
McCourt.
It's Kaiser, not McCourt, that is on. Hoover ripped it off Panaya. Some pressure. That's a foul on Mount Union. Oh, the Purple Raiders are irate. And a yellow card coming out. Wow. You want to talk about a turn of momentum. Panaya put in the book with a caution here in the 64th minute. That could have, in my opinion, easily gone the other way. And Mount Union might have had pretty much a free run right at the net. Instead, Weaver takes it. The Jackets, I think it's fair to point out, have gotten a couple of lucky breaks tonight. Sometimes that's how the game goes. You got to try to take advantage of them when they bounce your way.
You know, there was a lot of pushing and shoving from both sides. Now, you know, it could have been called both ways there, but you could hear the divide in the crowd. Baldwin Wallace, cheering on Hoover, and Mount Union a little upset that the call did not go their way.
Well, head coach David Krems wanted an explanation from the head official. Krems is certainly pleading his case. He's doing it in a professional manner, but he's not making up any progress with that official. And the call did not go his way. He really thought that it should have been a booking the other way. Meanwhile, Mount Union tries to rectify the mistake. The Raiders on the road trail 2-0 with 26-19 left in regulation. In their first 6 games, Mount Union had 3 shutout wins. They had a 2-1 victory and a couple of losses. Prior to tonight, 5 of the 6 goals they had allowed this year came in 2 games. Coleman plays it centrally. Heavy touch. Possession not lost. Just in the top of the 18. And it's sliding down to the turf. This is Palmer restarting. Playing through Egan. Panaya couldn't handle it. And they play back wide right. Jackets still have some work to do. And they're waiting to bring on Dylan Keeling. Former Rocky River Pirate stands midfield far side. This is the goal scorer, Nagy, playing wide left.
Baldwin Wallace with this 2-0 lead. But they're not safe. They've played with the lead before, struggled a little bit. Despite what a lot of people think, playing with the lead is very hard no matter what sport you're playing.
That was sloppiness from the Yellow Jacket defense. It doesn't cost them as Weaver picks it up, but a bit too risky there. Weaver puts it way up in the air.
Skied that one.
Quieres jockeying for positioning. That's out of play off Passano. Keeling comes on. He replaces Surowitz. And Mount Union making a change too as Panaya is going to come off the field. He only came on very briefly, picked up the yellow. And now Nick DeMonte returns. And with DeMonte coming into the midfield, it presses Weichel back ahead into the striker role. That's a foul on Kaiser. Nagy went down.
In for Mount Union, number 21, Nick DeMonte.
So Nagy lines up for the free kick. Ham gets forward. He can be a real threat in the box, as can Hoover. Nagy hangs one in the air with a left foot.
Baldwin Wallace by number 6, Attila Nagy Jr.
Trying to get it to Tusick. I think that, oh boy, I thought that may have gone off DeMonte. Instead, they say goal kick. Tonight's contest presented by Santo's Italian Restaurant in Middleburg Heights. Family owned and operated for 35 years.
April 10th as he traveled to Tiffin to compete in the Greg Tyson Jr. Invitational hosted by Heidelberg University at 11
If
a.m.
I can put a personal note on that. The Italian wedding soup and the chicken parm over at Santos. It's a must-get every time you go, especially the wedding soup. My goodness.
See, I'll have to try it out now.
It's just up the street. It's a great stop here if you're in Northeast Ohio. It's been around a long time. Proud to have them supporting Baldwin Wallace Athletics. Foul in the midfield. And the referee, looking at Kaiser, holds up 2 fingers as if to say, you're not going to get a third warning. Good work. Now it's Quieres. Back to Kessler.
BW taking their time. No reason to rush the ball up the field. The clock is in your favor right now.
Ohio Northern's lead remains 2-0 over Otterbein. Now they're in the 72nd minute. Capital 2, Wilmington 1, 74th minute. Marietta 2, Muskingum 1, 87th minute. John Carroll leads Heidelberg 2-1. Heidelberg tied the game in the 61st, But the Blue Streaks in the 65th scored quickly thereafter. Larry Sersasimo put the Blue Streaks back out in front of Heidelberg, who has still yet to win a game this year. By the way, that goal from Joseph Simon was just the second Heidelberg goal of the season. That long ball played in toward Weaver and too far wide right for Weaver to even touch it. John Carroll has outshot Heidelberg 25-1, but the one Heidelberg shot went in the net. JCU has 15 corner kicks. They are destroying Heidelberg statistically, but only lead 2-1 on the stat sheet or on the scoreboard.
Hey, Heidelberg is shooting 100% in this game.
27,
Something rare in soccer. I don't think I've really heard of that before.
Well, I can't seem to keep possession, though. All right. In the game in front of us, Baldwin Wallace with a goal in the 8th minute from Surowitz on a free kick near midfield that was misplayed defensively. And then BW worked a beautiful goal earlier in this second half, playing down in the far right corner, the way you look at it at home, the top corner with Yellow Jackets offensively. Surowitz played it to Tusik, who delivered a perfect pass to an open Nagy right around the top of the 8. And the Yellow Jackets took advantage, tucked one home. It's just outside the 6-yard box. We enter the 71st minute. Baldwin Wallace trying to be patient here. And that crossed. Yellow Jackets trying to apply a little high pressure here. Palmer handles it. Kaiser plays it back. Hoover fought through it, play on. Boy, Mount Union not happy.
You know, this game has been aggressive the whole way, but this second half has really amped it up. We've had 2 yellow cards so far in this game, 1 for each side, and it's just been a very physical game. You know, a lot of the physicality has been in the game. There's been nothing too outlandish, but, you know, pretty aggressive so far. Both this team showing how much they want it.
Nagy's header still fell down in a dangerous area. Jackets trying to keep it out of trouble. Oh, good move from Quieres. Just couldn't complete it. Remember, the Yellow Jacket yellow card came early in the game and was really not because of a physical play. It was when Hoover had kicked the ball into the stands after it had already crossed out of bounds. His was a caution for a delay of game, but for sure, to your point, this has definitely been a physical game. And that's kind of what you expect when 2 rivals play against one another. It appears the rain has let up here. It was never really raining hard enough to be too annoying. It was just a heavy, steady drizzle for a while. Mount Union building wide right. Play stops for a moment. Mount Union bringing on a sub.
The women's golf team is back in action on Saturday, April 10th and Sunday, April 11th as they travel to Tiffin to compete in the Heidelberg Spring Invitational at the Mohawk Golf Club.
Weaver, got to be careful with those. Sensed that he could just go after it and sent it down the field.
In for Mount Union, number 14, Ryan Sarkissian.
Sarkissian the new Raider on the field. Second time he's come into the game. Former Hudson Explorer. We've played almost 74 minutes. And the Yellow Jackets have been the better side so far tonight. They lead 2-0. It's been a very competitive contest, but Baldwin Wallace has taken advantage of their two opportunities. Mount Union 0 for 8, if you want to count it that way, in terms of executing on their, or I should say now 0 for 9 in their shot totals. Long throw in about to come from Tucker Ramirez. And the Jackets handle it. Ramirez sticking with it. Wins the ball. Steps into a low driving shot, and Weaver falls on it. And it's a good thing he did, because Ryan Sarkisian was right on top of him and could have tucked home a ricochet.
No, Weaver's done good with that so far. Hauling in that ball, not really letting a lot of ricochets. He's let a few when it started raining at the beginning, where it was just raining just a little bit, and at the beginning of this half, where the rain was starting to come back down again. The ball slipped through his gloves a little bit, but he's done a very good job preventing that and not letting Mount Union get a second chance opportunity off a ricochet.
Sarkisian plays back centrally to Passano. Left side, Ramirez. And BW's defense comes up with a play.
And they've been great all day.
Quieres just a little bit late pulling the trigger for Posner. And it's a throw in for BW, but no foul called. Meanwhile, the Yellow Jackets and Purple Raiders both waiting to bring on fresh legs. Now they will call the foul, okay? I thought with the way the referee blew the whistle, as the clock now stops 14-16. Well, something irritated our official. The play resumes. He had barked out some instructions over to the far side. That's a crafty little play and sends the Yellow Jacket defense retreating. Weaver. Not a great clearance. Ramirez. Actually, I beg your pardon, that's Jacob Coleman in the corner. Drives one at Weaver, who catches it sure-handed.
Not saying that Mount Union has to rush here, but the clock is not in their favor with only about 13 minutes left. They'll be looking for a goal sooner rather than later. Coming back from 2-0 is no easy task, and if they want to do that, a goal now would be ideal for the Raiders.
Passano commits the foul. Marietta Muskingum just went final. 2-1 in favor of the Pioneers. So Marietta up to 18 points now in the year, 6-2 their record. Marietta waits for the Yellow Jackets this weekend. Capital has added a third, 3-1 over Wilmington in the 81st minute. And Ohio Northern still out front of Otterbein, 2-0 in the 80th minute. John Carroll 2, Heidelberg 1, 75th minute. Kessler didn't attack it. He waited for it, and Sarkisian instead took it.
2021 season on Saturday, April 10th, when it hosts an Ohio Athletic Conference match against Marietta College on the Pop Collins tennis courts at 10 a.m.
Keeling wide left. Tusick now. Turns on the Jets. Tusick taken down just outside the box. No whistle. He wins it back. Palmer way up into the air. Over Quieres. and out of bounds. Substitution time. Two sides, two players each way.
Number 5, Brandon Garibaldi, and number 28, Nick
Garibaldi and Surowitz return for the Jackets. Mount Union's change included Carter Hancock and Ryan Weichel.
And number 11, Carter Hancock.
79th minute. A chance for the Jackets. Good thought. Stransky just hit it on the wrong side of his foot as he tried to pick out that top corner. Goal kick. Well, if Baldwin Wallace wins this game, and if Ohio Northern holds a result over Otterbein, the Jackets will move from 7th to 6th in the OAC standings.
Free kick for Mount Union by number 5.
With 11 points, Otterbein will have 10. Obviously, that's important with one game to play because the Yellow Jackets are trying to be in the top 6, qualify for the OAC tournament. They've got a tough customer coming up with Marietta this upcoming Saturday. Meantime, Otterbein this weekend hosting Capital in a crosstown rivalry there. Capital probably going to go into that game off a victory. They lead 3-1 in the 84th minute. Yellow Jackets harassing Mount Union in front of the bench. An open Keeling. Oh, it's a perfect pass. Dylan Keeling with a left foot. Sends it too tall. Oh, BW could feel it.
Yeah, as soon as that pass was made, every Yellow Jacket on that bench just started screaming in unison. They've been very active in supporting their teammates today. Though they haven't dug deep on their bench, it seems like that bench has been very active and maybe making a difference in this game. You know, with the lack of crowd, you know, a bench adding noise could add a little bit of an element that's missing.
81st minute, Mount Union with a free kick. Starting to feel like the Purple Raiders have got to make something happen here if they're going to post a result on the road. This is Ramirez driving one toward Weaver, who pulls it down without any real pressure. Baldwin Wallace offensively has only managed 4 shots on goal. 2 have gone in. On the other side, Matt Weaver just made his 11th save of the night. So he's been busy. Another Mount Union change. This time they're bringing Passano off. And the captain, Priester, returns. So Priester, McCourt, and Hancock all playing on the attack with Weichel.
In for Mount Union, number 12, Colton Priester.
It's a Mount Union throw. We're now under 8 minutes to play. BW with goals from Nick Surowitz and Attila Nagy Jr.
I'm interested to see how Baldwin Wallace plays this. If they're going to try to keep staying aggressive on offense, or if they're going to send some players back on defense. Their defensive line's been really solid so far, so maybe the need for it may not be there. But with 7 minutes left, Mount Union's really going to be sending everything they have at Baldwin Wallace. So it might be ideal to be more defensive-oriented in these last few minutes of this game.
Long throw in into the middle of the box. Keeling trying to close it off. Another chance perhaps. Rain falling once more. And it's cleared away. Well, I know he hasn't scored tonight, but Zach Hoover has been as instrumental as any player on the field. He has taken his job quite seriously tonight and performed at a high level.
Hoover and Ham have been fantastic today on that back line for Baldwin Wallace. Almost a difference maker, I would say, both of them. They've impacted a little bit on the offensive end as well. No goals for them, but they've done a very good job starting counter opportunities for Baldwin Wallace and keeping the ball on the offensive end, not letting Mount Union have any good opportunities. They've done very well with that.
We're at 6 minutes and 10 seconds left in regulation. And now you can feel the tension building for the Purple Raiders. They are in panic mode at the moment. Keeling plays back to Kessler. Mount Union has nearly doubled Baldwin Wallace in the shot category, 11-6. But nothing to show for it. Long ball ahead. Flag stays down, and Weaver grabs it. Ham back to Weaver. Meanwhile, Ohio Northern, 2-0 over Otterbein. They're in the 90th minute. So the Polar Bears are going to win. And if the Yellow Jackets can also pull out with 3 points, that will mean Baldwin Wallace will enter just on the positive side of the OAC tournament threshold. Got to be top 6. You want to play in the quarterfinals next Tuesday. Oh, great move. Good shot, deflected away. Nifty effort from McCourt, but a better effort defensively. 4:33 and counting. Mount Union with a corner kick.
Corner kick Mount Union by number 8, Rylan Weichel.
Weichel was ready to send it in. Instead, a substitute. Ramirez comes off. Weichel plays it in. Palmer tried to get his head on it. Couldn't get there.
18, Emilio Spetic.
Emilio Spetic, the freshman from way out on the east side, Notre Dame Cathedral Latin. He's the one that came on there as the offensive sub as we enter the 87th minute here on the road. Meanwhile, John Carroll 2-1 over Heidelberg. They're in the 86th. John Carroll's outshot Heidelberg 29-1. Goodness gracious. Capital 3, Wilmington 1. That game is about to go final. They've got 30 seconds left. And it's now over 2-0 Ohio Northern over Otterbein. Weaver cracks a good one deep down the field. DeMonte lets it bounce. Beg your pardon, that's Coleman. Referee says it's a clean tackle, but that was not. And a whistle to stop play. Was waiting for the yellow card to come out, but it will not. Mount Union free kick from a great spot with 3:01 on the timer. Alex Kleck, a little slow to get to his feet. The referee sends him off for just a moment. So Kleck can return at the next dead ball.
Free kick, Mount Union.
But more importantly, Mount Union with numbers here. 3 minutes to go. Toward the near post. Just a little too much on it. Good ball played forward by Emilio Spedic, looking for Hancock. Jackets making a change. Tusick comes out, and Garibaldi returns. 2:42 on the clock. Baldwin Wallace looking for its second consecutive win over the Mount Union Purple Raiders after beating them last in November of 2019, but having not beaten them since 2016 prior to that. Raiders are 22-11-3 all-time in this series. I believe we're still waiting for a clock change here.
I think 2:54 is what they're saying it should be changed to, as they figure that down below us. But add on what you're saying, that's a big program builder saying that we beat our rival 2 years in a row. All right, 2 seasons in a row, I should say. And that could really build your program up and put Baldwin Wallace soccer on the map.
Jackets, the beneficiary of a foul call there on Austin Overy. Austin was pretty upset. Thought it was a clean challenge. Even worse for Mount Union. The clock continues to run with the Jackets ahead 2-0.
Wallace, number 28, Nick Surowitz.
Here comes Surowitz. Low driving shot right into the belly of Mikey Contreras. 2:18 and counting.
That shot was on a line the whole way there.
It was a good job by the Jackets. Just trying to make sure they actually get something that could potentially be on target. Keeling into the middle, looking for a dagger.
That was a good look.
Nagy back to Keeling. Under 2 minutes to play. Keeling holding. Nagy just trying to play keep away in the corner. Mount Union's in some trouble. Trevor Ham sticking with it. Ham chests it down, has another chance. He's taken down, no whistle. Referee says play on. It came down to Posner, who hits it wide. Mount Union rushing to get moving. Minute 23 to play. Purple Raider throw incoming. Capitals win has gone final 3-1 over Wilmington. So this is likely the last game to go final. John Carroll and Heidelberg right down to the final 2 minutes as well.
1 minute remaining.
And we're now inside a minute to play here with Mount Union throwing in far side. Headed by McCourt, and then Weaver out to get it.
You can feel the frustration from Mount Union. Just so many opportunities, so many times that they could have put that ball in the back of the net, just not able to execute. They just haven't been able to get one up over Weaver so far.
Well, this is a huge result. Baldwin Wallace, 2-0 over Mount Union with 20 seconds remaining. The Yellow Jackets are going to pick up their third win of the season, having already beaten Heidelberg and Muskingum, but this their best quality victory for sure.
10,
Mount
9,
Union will fall to 4 and 3.
7, 6, 5.
We'll have no more
4,
action.
3, 2, 1.
Great win for the Jackets. They take advantage of a gifted goal in the 8th minute. The defense played very well, including Matt Weaver, who was tested time and time again. And BW with a terrific goal in the 78th minute from Attila Nagy Jr. Nagy made it 2-0, and the Yellow Jackets walk away with a great victory here at home. The teams will shake hands and walk into Saturday's season finale. Your final thoughts?
I mean, what a game by Baldwin Wallace. Their defense, Ham and Hoover were phenomenal. I don't have the power, but if I did have the power to give out player of the game, I would give it to those two. Though they didn't score, they were huge on locking down, especially that middle of the field, not letting Mount Union get any looks. Just a phenomenal all-around effort by Baldwin Wallace. Really changed the momentum for them in the second half. Though they had the 1-0 lead in the first half, momentum didn't feel in their favor. Good job on Baldwin Wallace. Puts them on the right side of that playoff line. And hopefully for them, that they can bring this momentum against Marietta as they head into the final game of the season.
So an updated look at the standings here at the end of the night. John Carroll with 21 points as they pull out and beat Heidelberg 2-1. John Carroll at the top of the table, undefeated, 7-0-0. Wilmington with a frustrating performance tonight. They were not the better side against Capital, and they were upset by the Crusaders 3-1, so Wilmington falls to 6-2. Marietta's victory over Muskingum 2-1 brings the Pioneers to 7-2. So Marietta jumps ahead of Wilmington now as Marietta you know what? No, I beg your pardon. Marietta is now 6-2 on the season. I apologize. So those two have drawn even. Right now tied at that second place in the league. But of course, I want to make sure I get this to you right here. The result between Marietta and Wilmington earlier in the year, the Quakers beat the Pioneers 1-0. So should there come a tiebreaker, Wilmington has the edge over Marietta. And right now, Wilmington still has the inside track for a bye into the semifinals. So it's John Carroll, then Wilmington, then Marietta. Ohio Northern, with their win over Otterbein, posts 13 points now. Mount Union's loss keeps them at 12. So Ohio Northern jumps into 4th place in the standings. Mount Union drops back to 5th. Baldwin Wallace's victory tonight puts them at 11 points. They move to 6th place. With Otterbein holding at 10 points, they are in 7th place, tied with Capital, who has 9 points, I should say. They are Capital's one behind Otterbein, and then Muskingum and Heidelberg. So we still have some flexibility going into this final weekend. The good news, if you're a Yellow Jacket fan, if you win, you're definitely in the OAC tournament. If you draw, you've got a good chance to get in the OAC tournament. This was a very important 3 points for BW tonight. We'll have to see how things shake out, but they've got a tough Marietta team that they will play on Saturday afternoon. If you're Mount Union, still at 12 points, the good news is nobody in the bottom half of the conference can knock you out. Mount Union is going to the OAC tournament here in 2021. For Dominic Clary, I'm Brendan Gulick. Good luck to the Purple Raiders and the Yellow Jackets in their season finales, and we'll see what happens with next week's OAC tournament. Tonight's contest presented by American International. If you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You've been watching Yellow Jackets Soccer live on BWYellowJackets.com.